Welcome to the class of high throughput data generation and analysis. Dear students, we are studying the genome analysis method, genome sequencing method, in which we have discussed about the greedy algorithm, the use of the greedy algorithms, how we can construct the complete sequence, how we can assemble the different fragments together. Because in the genome sequencing, for the larger genome, we cut the genome into the multiple fragments. Okay, then we do the sequencing of each fragment one by one. Okay, then these fragments are assembled together. So for the sequence assembling, we need the algorithm, computer program that can assemble these fragments in the correct order by aligning these fragments. So we have already discussed how we can align the different fragments. So we can use the AND space free alignment method to align the fragments, because in the sequence alignment method we do not accept gap between the sequence. So we can introduce the gap we can accept the gap at the end of the sequence. So now today we will discuss how we use the greedy algorithm in this case. So we are going to discuss it in detail. So the goal of algorithm, this greedy algorithm, is find a Hamiltonian path with large weight. Okay, so here we have to find the path. So that will give the maximum weight. Maximum weight is for, because we are doing the sequence alignment, so there should be the maximum residue, maximum matching. If there is a matching is higher, then there is the possibility of aligning those fragments. The sequence assembly will become easy. Okay, that will be done in the low cost. So the weight should be higher. The heuristic iteratively find the heaviest edge and try to add it to the path. Okay, so during this process we algorithm try to find the heaviest edge, and that can be added to the path, because we want to discover the path that can align the fragments to construct the complete sequence. Acceptance test is performed and edge can be added to the path if it will not create branching point on the path. The spelling is not correct. So if it will not create branching point, means we have to move according to the path. Okay, if it is creating bifurcating point, then it may lead to the another path. So for that we may cost. Okay, there may be the another path also. But for the partial solutions, as the greedy algorithm, you know that in the greedy algorithm, so we have the partial solutions, and we have to optimize these partial solutions. Okay, we have to find the optimal path that can provide the optimal solutions. Okay, so in the greedy algorithm we sort the edge by weight. For each edge in the decreasing order, perform acceptance test. For if accepted, add it to the path. So if you have any problem in this, we can discuss actually we have already discussed about this figure. So these are the different fragments, and we have to construct a single fragment using these fragments. So here these are aligned with each other, and whether this can be added with each other or not. So for that we have acceptance test is. So before going into the detail, before going to discuss any further detail of this method, today I want to discuss about the greedy algorithm also, so that you can have the idea. Okay, so greedy algorithms, what are these algorithms? Greedy algorithms are the method which find out the minimum spanning trees. So these are the algorithms that are used to visit the graph or any tree. So there are the different algorithms like Prim's algorithm, Kruskal algorithm, Dijkstra algorithms. So these are the different algorithms. Definition: a minimum spanning tree is a subgraph of an undirected graph such that the subgraph. So before going into the detail of the greedy algorithm and what is the how we use the greedy algorithm in the genome sequencing, first I want to discuss with you the minimum spanning tree again, that you have studied in the second semester also. So now we will discuss what is the greedy algorithm. So there are the different algorithms that can be used for the minimum spanning trees to visit the graph. So greedy algorithms has the different, you can say the Prim's algorithm, Kruskal algorithm and Dijkstra algorithm. These are the three algorithms that can be used to visit the graph or tree, in which we find out the minimum spanning tree. That means how we can visit the graph by visiting each node once and with the minimum distance. Okay. So here we are taking the minimum distance, so we are putting minimum weight. So but in the genome sequencing method we are taking the maximum weight. So it's up to you which solution we are finding out. Okay. Definition: minimum spanning tree is a subgraph of an undirected graph such that the subgraph spans all nodes, is connected, is acyclic and has minimum total age weight. Okay. So here we are trying to find out minimum spanning tree. Algorithm characteristics: both Prim's and Kruskal algorithm work with undirected graphs. Both work with weighted and unweighted graphs. Okay, but this is more interesting when the ages are weighted. So in the case of genome sequencing, the ages are also weighted. So both are greedy algorithms that produce the optimal solutions. What is Prim's algorithm? It is similar to the Dijkstra algorithm, so except few things. Means records age weights, not path lengths. So this is the example of the Prim's algorithm. Here you are seeing this is the graph in which we have different nodes A, B, C, D to F. Okay, G, H. Okay, means A to H. We have the different nodes also. Okay, so these are total 8 nodes. Okay, A to H. Okay, so here we have also drawn the adjacent matrix. Okay. In this we initialize the array, then we store the value. What is the distance between the different nodes? How we can visit the node with the minimum distance. Okay, the distance should be minimum. So we have to visit each node with the minimum distance. Okay, I think it is written. So each vertex should be visited. So here you are able to see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. All nodes are given here. Then so we will start from one node. So D we have taken to start. Okay. Then we are filling. D is aligned with the what is the distance between D and D? That is 0. Okay, then we have filled up. Then we will fill up the distance with the adjacent node. What are these? D, if the distance between D and E is 25, it is written here. What is next adjacent node? C. So distance between D and C is 3. So we have filled up this. Now which one is the next adjacent node? G. So distance between D and G is 2. So it is filled up here. So we just filled up the distance. Okay. Update distance of adjacent unselected nodes. So we have to update the distance. Now come to the next. So red node is shown, means this is the visited node. Now next node that we are visiting now, this is G, because it shows the minimum distance 2. Okay. So D is the nearest to the G. So distance is 2. So we always try to take the node which show the minimum distance. We have to travel the minimum. So distance between D and G is 2. So it is updated now. Okay. Then distance between D and H is how we can the distance between G to H is 3 now. Okay, now we have to calculate it from G. Okay, distance between G and D is what? 2, and distance between G and H is 3. So we have updated the distance. Now select the next node. Which one is the next? Okay, then 3 is also the minimum distance. So C is the closest. So now we are updating the distance. Distance between D and C is 3. Now distance between C and B is 4. So this is updating now. Okay, so we have to also find out which one is the next visiting node. Okay. So F, what is the distance between E and F? Okay, so this we have to calculate like F to C, distance between F to C, because C is the just we have visited just now. So distance between C and F is 3 now. So we have updated this. Okay, because we are on the C node now, and next node is the F. F we have selected now. Means it is on the basis of distance, because next minimum distance is 3, and we have updated all the distances using this. Now we have to move to the next node. Now we are updating what is the distance between F to A, that is 10. We are updating the distance. So we have to update the distance between the adjacent nodes that are unselected. Okay, so red, it is shown in the red color that we are updating. So distance between F and A is 10. Select node with minimum distance. What is the next one? So after see now you can see the updated distance between F and E. Okay, what is this distance? That is 2. Okay, distance between E and F is 2. This is the minimum distance. Now come to distance between G and D is also 2. Okay. So update the distances of adjacent node that are unselected nodes. Now we have to move to next. Select node with the minimum distance. So H. Now we have selected H node. Because it is at the minimum distance. The distance between G and H is 3. Okay, and okay, we can compare all other distances also. Which one is the nearest? So H. Now we are updating distance. Okay. Distance between H and A is 4. Okay, it has been updated here in the red color. Now select node with the minimum distance. So 4. So I think the one node is left now. Okay, all the node we have visited, because we have to visit a single node at once. Update distance to adjacent and selected nodes, because 4 we have updated. Now B shown. Okay, so B is at the middle, so it shows the distance between B and C is 4. Okay, update distances of adjacent unselected nodes. Okay, so here you can see we have filled up the matrix. We have adjacent matrix, adjacent. So in which we have adjacent node. So this is the adjacency matrix. select node with minimum distance B. So now we are also updating this distance. So now you can see we have visited all the nodes. This algorithm has visited all the nodes. Now we have updated the distance, so you have to follow this. Okay, this is the greedy algorithm, the cost of the minimum spanning tree. Now you can count. So we have to we have to trying to find out minimum spanning tree, minimum path means which cost minimum. So you can calculate 4 plus 4 plus 3 0 2 3 2 3. So that is the total is 21. So total 21 is the cost. So 21 is the distance here. Okay, so this is the example of Prim's algorithm. This is the one of the greedy algorithm that I have shown you. Now I am coming to the this method, genome sequencing method. Here also we use the greedy algorithm. Now you can understand easily. But here what is the difference? We are costing high, means we are giving weight, we are adding path, we are adding weight to the path. Okay, for each edge that we are visiting. So more weight is important for us here, because we are aligning the different fragments together. We are trying to construct a complete sequence. So we are giving the weight positively. So we need the, so here it is up to you what you want to find out. We want to find out the optimal solution. Now you can consider this graph like A to D. So weight is 2 here, because why it is like so? T A C G A, because 2 and D is G A C A. So 2 residues are similar in this. 2 residues are matching, so it shows the matching of 2. So we have given the weight 2 here. So A can be aligned with D. So this is okay. This will be selected. This is the greedy choice, because okay, we have more benefit. Where we have the benefit, we accept that. So we are accepting this A with D, and A can be aligned with D. So you can align TACGA, or next fragment will be GACA, because GA is aligning with GA of first fragment. This is the D fragment. The CA will come next. So you can add below this fragment. You can add the D fragment below the A, like G is similar. Okay, this is the overlapping fragment. So GA is overlapping. So next residue will be CA. Okay, now come to the next DB. This will be selected or not. So what can be the next fragment that can be aligned with this D fragment? D or B. So D or B can be aligned or not. GACA is the sequence in the D of the D fragment, and what is the sequence of B fragment? ACA triple C. So A is common here. So this fragment can be aligned with this. DB, okay, it will be selected because one residue is similar. So we have put in one value of 1 here. So this is selected. This has been selected here. Okay, DB. So this is the path now. A to D, then D to B. Okay. Now come to the next A to B, like A or B. This can be aligned or not. This can be the next or not. A to B. A to B. So acceptance test fail. Why it is like so? Because if you align A to B, what will happen? Like, what is the similarity? Only one residue is similar here, but you have already added. You cannot go back. You have already added the D to. Okay, so next fragment will be GACA, and this has been aligned properly. We have more gain here. If we align A with D, so there is more gain here. Okay, 2. Okay, then D is aligning with the B. So again we are comparing. This can be, so acceptance test false, means it cannot be accepted because only one residue is similar and it is not providing the more gain here in comparison to the A or D. So for this, acceptance test will be false. So we cannot accept this. Now try B. B को हम C के साथ करेंगे. B with C. So what will happen? this is also giving us the gain of 1, but B can be aligned with C. How it is? Like this is the fragment, C fragment is CTAAG. Okay, what is the similarity? What is the similarity between these? Okay, because G is present at the end and another residue of the C is C, so these two can be matched. So if we match it with the B fragment, so C, I think C is the common thing, C is the common residue, so that the B fragment can be added before the C. Okay, before the C. Now the B can be added before C. Okay, so C will be the last fragment then, because after D we are adding B, then after B we are adding C. Now this is the path. We are moving A to D, then D to B, then B to C. So in this way we have visited all the nodes. We have traveled through all the ACs. Okay, because ACs are important because we are gaining the weight of 1 or 2. So in that way we can align. I think now you are getting what is greedy algorithm. So this is the greedy algorithm. In the last one we have also discussed about this. We are trying to find out the Hamiltonian path. What is Hamiltonian path? It's a path that visit each vertex exactly once. So we have to find. So what is the P? The definition is given here. P is the path, A is the set of fragments that involving A. So A is the set of fragments. Okay. And WP is the sum of the weight of path P, the sum of the edge weight on this path. So we have to gain it more, means we have to take which one has the high weight, and in that way we are aligning these fragments. So this algorithm can help to construct a complete sequence. So here you can see sort ACs by weight for each ACE in decreasing order, because we have to take the maximum weight at the initial, then we will follow decreasing order. Perform acceptance test for FG. If accepted, add it to the path. So what we are doing? So this is the algorithm. Whatever we have performed just now, this is the algorithm of that. So we are accepting it only if we have the gain. Okay, so now this is aligning. So this figure I have explained you. Now you can see the complication. What complication? Repeated region sequences that appear more than once in the molecule. The copies of the repeats do not need to be exactly the same. Problems are listed below. So sometimes it is not the same, but this is true for the end of the sequences. So end of the sequences cannot be the same, so it can vary. Okay, but we have to align we have to find out the matching residue between the fragments. So target sequence leading an ambiguous assembly because of repeats of the form XXX. Sometimes we have the repetitive residue like triple X. Okay, so this is the problem: A, X, C, X, B, X, D. So 3 times we are getting X. So in the figure 4.A you can see, and in the figure 4.9 you can see target sequence leading to ambiguous assembly because of repeats of the form XY, XY. Okay, so sometimes there is a problem in this type of aligning. To solve this problem, what we do, the solution is given in the 4.10 figure. Target sequence with inverted repeat. The region marked X is the reverse complement of the region marked. So these are the complication. I think these are all examples of the complication. This is not the solution. Okay. So sometimes there is the inverted repeat like X, X bar, X, X bar. So there can be the inverted repeats also. So these are the complications. So we have to solve all these using this method. Okay. Coverage and linkage. Coverage, number of times given position is included in an aligned for fragment. If a coverage equals 0 at some column, we do not have continuous layout. Okay. Linkage, amount of overlaps between fragments. So these are important. So linkage is also the one problem. So you can see the example like in the figure 4.22. Good average but bad linkage. Here you can see the fragments are shown here, 3 fragments like T, A, C, 4 times T. Delta C, A, double C, G, A, G. Okay, then A, C, G, C, A, C. So we are aligning these. Okay. So using 3 fragments we have constructed, but we are not getting overlapping fragment here. Good average, good coverage, but bad linkage. There is no linkage. We are able to see, means we are not able to see the overlapping residue here. Okay. Complication, lack of coverage. So target DNA, this is the uncovered DNA. Okay. Uncovered area. Okay. Coverage at position I of the target is the number of fragments that cover this position. Okay. So what is the coverage? If we want to construct a complete sequence, that is called coverage, and there can be the uncovered portion here. So the counting, what is counting? Counting is the fragment continuously covered region. So we have to find out this continuously covered regions. We have to construct the one. So here there is a gap between, at the middle you can see, we can make the complete sequence, but there is a missing gaps. Counting. So we have to find out the another counting that can be fitted here. We have to find out the another counting. Closing gaps. So sequence walking is done for closing the gaps. Derive a primer from a sequence near the end of the counting. Replicate the sequence starting at the primer. So what we do, we take the primer like it happens in the replication. We provide the primer, so it synthesizes the sequence. Next, extended sequence. This is the replicated sequence. If the replicated sequence did not cover the gap, repeat the above step. So we do it again and again. So we take the primer and we synthesize the next residues. Then again we use the primer, and again we further we synthesize the sequence to fill that gap. Problem, there is so much problem here. TD is for larger gaps. A region of interest must be unique in the genome. So sometimes there can be the problem. We synthesize the gap. Actually, it is like a DNA replication. In the DNA replication, DNA polymerase enzyme is used. Primer and DNA polymerase enzyme is used. So synthesize that. So this process is called sequence walking, because we are constructing the part of the sequence one by one to fill that gap. We are using the primer and DNA polymerase enzyme. Dual end sequencing, recall that the inserts are much longer than the sequence fragments. Sometimes inserts are much longer than the sequence fragment. Means what we are trying to sequence, what we are synthesizing, that there may be the difference between. If we sequence both ends of the insert, we obtain mate pairs. If we can, okay, which can be used. If the two ends of the mate pair are in two different countings, we can reduce the orientation distance between the two countings. Okay. So we have to analyze carefully. We can synthesize the fragment, but this is not appropriate for the longer sequences. Okay. So we can reduce the orientation and distance between two contexts. Scaffold, we can use sequence of contexts where the order and distances between the contexts are approximately known. So we can use the different contexts of the same scaffold. So So we should have the multiple contacts so that we can fill the gap. So what is the scaffold? Means group, we have to group them together to make the scaffold. Okay, to complete the complete sequence. Okay, because contacts are assembled into the scaffold, then scaffold are assembled into the complete sequences. So what we need to learn from the genome sequencing method? Using gene finding algorithm, we can discover significant portion of genes, understand the structure of the genome, understand genome evolution, and searching for genes associated with the disease. So there are so many things that we can learn. We will discuss it on the next turn. Okay, so these are the applications, benefits of the sequence assembly, whole genome sequence sampling. If you have any question, you can ask. Anybody is here?